Welcome to Week 7 of the South Jersey football season. Marc Narducci and Phil Anastasia. And Phil, let's kick it off Friday night with one of the great rivalries in South Jersey. Two undefeated teams, two of the top Group 2 teams, Colonial Liberty, Haddonfield at West Deptford.
You know, it's amazing, Mark. These teams invariably play 2 times a year.
Yeah.
You know, I know they have in the last couple of years, but before that, it seemed like every year they did. And they could again this year. Yeah. You know, this game obviously huge for the Colonial, the West Jersey Colonial, huge in South Jersey Group 2 PowerPoints. So the winner, I think, is going to be in great shape in terms of winning the division, getting the number 1 seed. The loser is going to kind of lick his chops and say, boy, I hope I see you again. You know, kind of in that kind of a game. Both teams battling injuries a little bit. Haddonfield has really lost quite a few guys. Yeah. West Deptford, Kenny Lim, their top junior running back, really a question about whether or not he's going to play. So it's going to really be a battle of depth. But you're right, in terms of rivalry, familiarity, it doesn't get much better than these two.
And by the way, Lim's averaging 10.1 yards per carry, a first down for every carry. So that would be a big loss. West Deptford won 48-14 last year. We expect it to be a lot closer.
I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. If you just go by comparative scores, I think Haddonfield's been more impressive. But again, in a rivalry game at West Deptford, I think it's going to turn out to be a great game.
Hey, how about two teams a little under the radar? Morristown and Bishop Eustace. Eustace is 3-2, has already exceeded its win total from last year.
They've really had a nice year under first-year coach A.J. Johnson. 2 losses to 2 top 15 teams in Camden Catholic and Woodrow Wilson. Coming off a real nice win over Holy Cross. They win in overtime. And here's their chance to kind of, show they're a little bit more legitimate than maybe some people on the outside would think in hosting a Moorestown team. 5-1, Mark, for the first time since 2007. Coming off, very impressive kind of run here. Kind of positioning themselves for a good berth in South Jersey Group 4. So this is a big game for both teams. I think it's got a chance to be a real good one.
Hey, speaking of good ones, Delsea at Eastern. Eastern's 5-1. Remember, Eastern only won 4 games all of last season. Delsea 3-3 as a record, really 4-2, but they had that one forfeit loss.
And they're starting to gain some momentum. Yeah, they scored like in the 40s the last 2 games. Aiden Burgett, their junior running back, leading the way with 12 touchdowns. They don't have a whole lot of margin for error in terms of getting a good seed in South Jersey 3. They have Woodrow Wilson next week, Mark, which is a huge game. They got to be careful not to find themselves looking ahead because, like you said, Eastern's had a real nice season, 5-1, coming off an impressive win at Pennsauken, and a team that really is angling for a nice seed in South Jersey 5, maybe even getting themselves a home game. So a lot on the line for both teams here.
And Phil, one for the historical nature. It's Florence against Maple Shade. Joe Ferpoli going for win number 300. Paul Sacco of St. Joe Hamilton, the only coach with 300. You know what's impressive about Ferpoli? Not only his wins, his losses. He's won more than twice as many as he's lost. 299. 135 and 5.
Just built a remarkable program in that, in that little river town down there in Florence. And they have a style of play. They've had his whole career, very, very impressive. And here he is going for 300, which is amazing. Frapp started in 1974, Mark. He's the only coach in South Jersey right now who started in the 70s. And I think there's only 5 guys that started in the 80s. So that's how long he's been doing this. I talked to him yesterday. I was out to see him. He doesn't think the number's that big a deal, but what it kind of represents to him is the memories and all the years he's been there, the coaches and the players that he's worked with. So really going to be a big moment for one of the all-time legends, I think, in South Jersey football.
You know how long ago that is? I was a sophomore at Paul VI. Yikes. But anyway, that's just the first part of our games. We'll be back for part 2 for Phil Anastasia, Marc Narducci for Philly.com.